Hello my Wolfpack and welcome to the PAC Draft League analysis. This is a Showdown League, the first Showdown League I've actually ever been in, but, you know, I thought I'll try something new, I'll try a different avenue and play some games. Now this is a singles league, it is really exciting. I applied for it kind of on a whim, but actually I am super excited. The PAC's quite a popular league. And yeah, I got into the Showdown League, which is really exciting. And today we're going through my draft analysis of everything I got. So yeah, in terms of this, I was picked 15 out of 16. Now bear in mind that actually there aren't that many like super top tier Pokemon, and they had all gone by the time that I actually got to my first pick. Now I was picked 15 out of 16, so I'm not quite the wheel, but very close to it. Now the first one I saw was Sandy Shocks. Now this is kind of a mon that I really was like, I really want to try this one out. I'm really excited to give this thing a go. And it has really good speed, it has pretty good special attack, obviously photosynthesis is an option. It is just generally quite powerful, has relatively good typing in electric ground. It does have electric immunity itself. Obviously access to a couple more coverage moves, so Power Gem and Flash Cannon are mostly ones there, but typically this thing is just going to be designed mostly as a beta, but it also has access to things like Stealth Rocks, so that will definitely be really useful. But honestly, this is someone that I've seen, and just kind of from the get-go I really wanted to try and use it in draft. I think it was just one mon that really has kind of stood out to me. My second mon, now this is a mon that I have been wanting to draft for literally years. I've never drafted Heracross, and I finally have managed to draft it. Normally it's been that I've been sniped, but this time I went, nope, I'm going kind of straight off. Heracross will work quite nicely in combination. Obviously it's got access to Moxie, it's got access to Guts as well, so Flame Orb set is definitely a really viable option. Obviously Guts and, Moxie and Choice Scarf are also really awesome combinations. Lots of good moves, and you know, this is a really cool mon to play with, and I really am looking forward to it. In terms of Heracross, it does my Heracross, it is one of my Terra captains, so basically it's one of the only mons that can Terrastallize on my team, can Terrastallize into anything, but it is one of my 2 Terra mons. I thought this one would be a really good Terramon just because it's typing 4 times weak to flying. If I can kind of change that up, that's going to be pretty beneficial. Also, things like Terra Blast give it a little bit more coverage as well. So I thought, you know, Heracross is the mon that I really want to see Terrastallize on my team. My third pick, I went for Cerulege. Now, Cerulege is a really cool mon. Obviously, Ghost Fire. I was looking at this and I was like, what do I want kind of next? And Cerulege kind of stuck out to me a little bit. Really good attack, obviously, really powerful, has fire and ghost typing, so it has the immunity to things like fighting and also normal types. And yeah, just generally I thought this would be a really cool mon to use just for kind of some power output. I wasn't at the point where really I was going to try and find any support, any defensive mons just yet in this league. And again, things were going pretty rapidly, so I was like, okay, I need to find certain typings kind of straight away, because I think at this point fire types were just disappearing. I was like, okay, I need to pick something up. Cerulege works quite nicely. It's got relatively okay speed, got good attack stat. Obviously things like Choice Scarfing on it is going to be really good, but yeah, it's definitely going to be a mon that I'm going to be really enjoying using. It's another mon that I've really wanted to use from the get-go as well. Next up, now I think this is one of the few mons that I have drafted before, that I have drafted a second time, and Slowbro. Yeah, Slowbro, honestly, I absolutely love this thing. Absolutely love it. It has really good defense, it has pretty darn good coverage for a vast variety of Pokemon. Also has access to Slack Off, big guts, for some recovery, and even Belly Drum, I think, if I wanted to go that avenue. So Slowbro, you know, looking really nice on this team. I thought, you know, this kind of fills out sort of my core a bit more. And Cerulege and Slowbro combination I thought worked really nicely, and Slowbro can be run more defensively if I want to run it more defensively as well. That was the idea with this one. Going on to my next pick, so again, this is kind of, so pick 5, and honestly I sort of think And Tinkerton was only worth 8 points, I think. I think it was 8 points, and honestly, I saw that and I was like, oh, this one is so good compared to the 8 point that was needed of it. And I think I did snipe a few people. I think a few people did want this, but I thought, you know what, let's start trying to fill out a Fairy Dragon Steel Core, and Tinkerton just was the one that I saw, and I thought, yes, actually, really like the look of this thing. Obviously, it's not got the biggest stats, but it has got some pretty good moves that it does have. Things like Gigaton Hammer, Play Rough, for both stab moves. It's got things like Thunder Wave, Knock Off, lots and lots of good support moves as well. So, yeah, realistically, Tinkerton, not necessarily going to come to all matches, but I think that it was definitely a really good steel pick in both ways of steel. But yeah, I really like this one. I'm excited to use it and see kind of what stuff it can do. Moving on to next, I decided to fill out my, at this point all the dragons are basically gone, so I was like, you know what, I ain't going to bother with a dragon yet. I'll see what dredges are left overall. So I decided to fill out my water, fire, grass core. And Serena kind of stood out to me. It was a bit like, this is an interesting one. One, it gets things like rapid spin, so I can get rid of any hazards. Two, it's just generally a pretty cool Pokemon. I've never used it, and I've kind of wanted to use it a bit. Like, not hugely, not as much as Heracross, but I've had like inklings of like, I could get on with this one. And I think, yeah, it just gets access to several pretty good moves. It has pretty good coverage, has pretty good support capabilities. So actually, in a draft league, it is a pretty solid one to have. I wasn't quite sure with picking it up, but I was just looking at kind of the grass types, and I was like, you know what, this is a solid grass type. A lot of the other kind of stronger grass types had already gone by this point, so I was like, you know what, pick up Serena, and we'll go from there, and we'll see how that happens. Next up, so bear in mind again, we have had another like 30 picks since this one, and I went for Primate. Primate again, I think was 8 points. It might have been lower than that, but Primate, obviously, it has a really high attack stat anyways. It has the access to Eviolite now, because obviously it can evolve into Annihilate. So I thought the Eviolite combination with like maybe a Bulk Up Drain Punch set could be pretty nice. Might be something worth giving a try. But yeah, I thought Primate, you know, would be a cool secondary fighting type Pokemon to have. It isn't one that I've considered using in the past, and I thought, you know what, this gen, let's give it a try, let's see how it goes, and if this thing can do some stuff, I will put it in to be able to do stuff. Then next up, I finally went for my dragon pick. There were very few dragons left, and I was like, okay, there's literally like Altaria or some NFE ones, not fully evolved ones. So I was like, okay, Altaria has been on my radar for a very long time as well, as a one that I've really wanted to use. It was worth 4 points, so it was actually really good for the amount of points it was worth. Obviously, this thing isn't going to be breaking any teams. I'm going to fully admit that. It's not going to be breaking things. But it could be a really good pivot. I can come in and do a lot of support moves with it. You've got access to things like Will-O-Wisp as well as Crossing Guard, so this can be really defensive, which actually some teams out there are very physically offensive. So yeah, I thought Altaria is a pretty cool Pokemon to give it a go and see what it is. I've also put it down as a Terramon as well, so it is able to Terastallize, thinking more along the lines of getting rid of that 4 times weakness to Ice. But yeah, that's definitely something that I'm interested in using. I'm not sure that it's the most amazing Pokemon. In fact, it isn't the most amazing Pokemon, but it is definitely something that I'm really excited to try and use and see what kind of sets I can come up with. Because I'm looking at things more like fun sets. I'm not looking at this, I'm going to win every match, because honestly, I'm not in it for that at the minute. I'm just in it for the fun and the content, and that's it. So yeah, Altaria, going to be a fun mon. Probably will come to some matches. Next up, we have Lycanroc. Now, at this point, I was like, I've got quite a few points left to burn. Let's kind of look at some different things, maybe a little bit more power output here. And I've gone for Lycanroc Day, which, you know, is a cool mon. Again, Lycanroc is a mon that's been on my radar for a very long time. I really wanted to use it, and I thought, actually, I don't normally draft any rock types, so let's give this one a go. So, Lycanroc on the team, it's my fastest mon. It has obviously access to priority, it has access to a lot of pretty darn good moves, so things like Stone Edge, Earthquake, Close Combat, and I think, yeah, generally it's going to be a pretty solid mon on the team. When I can bring it, I will definitely be able to bring it, and it can just tear through some different mons. I think it'll work quite nicely in combination with things like Slowbro, being able to kind of deal with those, and potentially even Sandy Shocks as well. I think kind of as a trio they would work quite nicely. Just got to kind of bear in mind that obviously there are some risks doing that, things like grass types, which I'll be weak to on all three of them, but you know, this could be a really fun one to use, and I'm really excited to give it a go. My penultimate mon, I went for Said Titan. Honestly, I was again just looking, I had so many points to burn. At this point, I kind of was like trying to figure out exactly what kind of I needed in my team, and I thought an Ice type might be pretty cool. Now, Said Titan, admittedly, isn't as good without the Slush Rush. It really is not as good as if I had the ability to set the Snow up, which obviously, actually in retrospect, going for Slowking instead of Slowbro might have been a better option to allow for this Titan to be able to obviously do some things. But I thought this thing actually, it's relatively bulky. It's got a pretty good attack stat from what I can remember. It's got some good moves. So I think actually, yes, Titan was just a pick kind of as an option of Pokemon. I have got obviously Trick Room capabilities with things like Slowbro as well. So there are definitely options for me to run a few different circles, a few different ideas. And I thought Titan just, you know, can just kind of sit there and hit a few mons. And that's kind of the idea of it. I think it was worth like 13 points. And I had like 17 points left, and I was like, I already know what my last Pokemon's going to be. And the last Pokemon is going to be a very unexpected Pokemon, but actually it's a Pokemon that I am so excited to use. And this is probably one of my favourite picks of the draft, if I'm honest. Masquerain. Now, this thing has access to Quiver Dance, it has access to a lot of relatively good moves, things like Giga Drain, Air Slash, Hydro Pump, Bug Buzz, and a few more different moves. I think it even might have Dazzling Gleam, don't hold me to that one, I might be wrong with that. But yeah, Masquerain has actually got some capabilities here. It also is one of the 3 Pokemon that gets Sticky Webs, the other ones being Spidops and Crocochoon. Now obviously I am the Delele Whoops, but I decided not to run Crocochoon this time. You know, I've run Crocochoon in the past, and Masquerain, you know, was sticking out for me. It was worth 4 points. It was a huge steal, absolutely huge steal for what I kind of saw in it and the capabilities that he's definitely going to be able to run. Sticky Webs in itself, I think, is definitely worth at least 6 points. So, you know, it kind of allows me to quite solidly do some different things. Obviously, big weakness to rock types. I probably should have considered putting this as one of my Terramons, but I didn't because, you know, I didn't, and I made that decision. But if I did, yeah, it probably would have been better. But, you know, honestly, I really love this team. This team, from what I was kind of capable of getting in terms of building this team, it did definitely take some kind of thought and some capacities. I didn't really go in with a plan because I knew I was so low down on the list, and the fact that I was so low down and there were 16 coaches in this draft, that, you know, I knew that my team was not going to be perfect. But actually, I think looking at all of these mons, I think I could easily bring any one of these. I think I could easily bring any of these Pokemon to a battle. Any of these Pokemon could end up on my team. Masquerain, definitely going to end up on some of my teams. Titan, probably the least likely to end up on the team if I'm completely honest, but, you know, definitely has the capacity to. Lycanroc, probably going to end up a few. Octario, probably going to end up a few. Primate, probably end up on a couple. Serena, probably going to end up on a lot of them actually. I think it's a very solid coverage Pokemon. Tinkaton, probably end up on a few. Slowbro, I think it's going to be on most, if not all of them. Cerulege, probably again most, if not all. Heracross and Sandy Shocks again. I wouldn't be surprised if I put them on all of my teams, but I think that actually I've got a very middle of the ground team, and this allows me to have a lot more usable mons than some of the other kind of drafters that have had to draft very high tier, high point mons, and then very low point mons. So yeah, that's kind of my idea with this. I think it's a decent draft. It's not perfect, there are definitely some holes, but it is a decent enough draft, and I think I'm definitely going to have a lot of fun with this. So yeah, I'm going to finish this off, so I hope you enjoyed this. If you have, please do like, subscribe and comment. Let me know what you think down in the comment section below. Anyways, I'm getting out of here, so have a good one, and I'll see you soon.